Are you ready to dive deep into the intriguing world of Sigma females, those enigmatic figures who shatter the mold of traditional femininity? Today, we're exploring why these remarkable individuals are anything but ordinary. From their unwavering independence to their distinct approach to life and relationships, Sigma females walk a path less traveled. Join us as we uncover the layers of their unique personalities, debunk myths, and celebrate the qualities that set them apart from the conventional. Get ready to have your perceptions challenged and perhaps discover a little bit of the Sigma within yourself. Let's get started. The personality of a Sigma female. Because Sigma females tend to think a lot about themselves, their personality is often seen as mysterious. People in this group are deep thinkers who are always thinking about life and how complicated it is. Because they think a lot, they have a lot of ideas, beliefs, and a unique way of understanding the world around them. Sigma women today are the ones who think, dream, and talk about philosophy. Independence is another thing that makes Sigma ladies stand out. People like this are independent and would rather rely on their own skills and abilities than ask for help. This independence doesn't come from being cocky. It comes from having a lot of faith in their own skills. Self-confidence is a very important trait for Sigma women. They are happy with who they are and know what their skills and weaknesses are. They have a quiet confidence that comes from knowing their own worth and not needing approval from other people. They don't feel the need to show themselves to anyone. Sigma females are not at all shy, even though some people might see their low need for social contact as aloofness. They choose who they associate with carefully, putting quality over quantity. They feel better when they're by themselves and enjoy being alone. One interesting thing about Sigma ladies is how flexible they are. They can easily change to fit different places and events, just like chameleons. Their ability to change comes from the fact that they don't see life as a straight line, but as a bunch of different options that could all lead to different results. Sigma women are basically one of a kind and not like other women. They are the lone wolves, the oddballs, the people who don't follow the rules and make their own way. They might not fit into standard roles, but they see and act in the world in new ways. Their independence, ability to think about themselves, and ability to change are more important than ever in a world that is always changing. The way of life of a Sigma female. A Sigma female's way of life is an interesting mix of simplicity, solitude, and freedom. These people have a special way of taking away all the unnecessary parts of life and focused on the most important ones. Their deep appreciation for simplicity leads them to often live a simple life without any extraneous things. For Sigma women, less really is more, and this way of thinking affects every part of their lives. For Sigma women, being alone is an important part of their lives. Sigma females value silence as a way to improve their mind and character, unlike loners who shut themselves off because they are sad. It gives them a safe place to be alone with their thoughts and ideas, away from the things going on in the outside world. Instead of being a jail, being alone is a safe place where they can grow and thrive. Sigma women need to be free to live a full life. They are neither followers nor people who want to be leaders. Instead, they make their own ways without being affected by what other people think or expect of them. They don't have to follow standard rules, so they find their own worth and are driven by their own inner drives. Sigma women often choose to avoid social events, not because they are afraid or anxious, but because they want to. They don't like shallow small talk and would rather have deeper, more important conversations, usually one-on-one where they can have an intellectual conversation. Sigma females live in a world that they mostly made up, and their morals and ideals show up in every part of their lives. Some people might think their world is quiet and lonely, but it's actually a happy place for them. because they aren't tied down by societal standards. They make their own rules for life and are free to be who they are. They follow their own unique ways. Sigma ladies are great examples of how to live your life without worrying about what other people think or needing their approval. They value freedom, solitude, and living a simple life. This way of life shows what they really want and value. How a Sigma female acts and interacts with others in a relationship. Sigma women find it hard to find the right balance between independence and closeness in partnerships. Sigma females choose their own paths in relationships, unlike alpha females who like to be in charge, or beta females who want to be liked. Their strong need for privacy and independence shape how they act and connect with others. Imagine a lone wolf that roams the wild, not because it's lonely, but because it wants to. That's what a Sigma female is all about when it comes to partnerships. They value their freedom and privacy, and often need time alone to recharge after spending time with other people. That doesn't mean they don't have any ties, though. They instead enter into them on their own time and terms. Sigma women want to make deep, meaningful relationships with the people they date. They're not interested in short-term flings. They want partners who understand and accept their need for alone time. Sigma women look for partners who are independent and value people who have their own hobbies and passions. Even though they are together, they still keep their individuality by keeping their own quirks and habits. When it comes to relationships, Sigma women are known for being reliable. They are completely dedicated when they say they will do something. They are loyal, but there is one catch. They always need their own room. They care deeply about their partners, but they expect that their partners will accept and understand this important part of who they are. Sigma women have a unique way of looking at relationships. They value independence, look for deep bonds, and are loyal no matter what. But they will always need their own place, which makes them different from other female archetypes when it comes to relationships. The next thing we'll talk about is how a Sigma female acts and does her job. Sigma females have a unique set of traits at work, including being independent, creative, and determined. Imagine a worker who loves being independent and works best when they are by themselves. They are also great at solving problems. On the job, this is the Sigma female. A strong sense of freedom is one thing that sets Sigma females apart at work. They like being in charge of their own schedules and tasks, and they often avoid traditional corporate structures in favor of jobs that give them freedom and flexibility. Another important part of how they work is being creative. Sigma women are naturally drawn to jobs that let them use their creative thinking. They see problems as chances to use their unique points of view. These people easily come up with new ways to solve tough problems because they look at things from a different point of view. When they face problems, Sigma ladies don't freak out or rush to get help. They instead take a step back, carefully look at what's going on, and come up with a plan. They are very good at breaking down hard problems into parts that are easier to handle and finding the fastest way to solve them. In addition, they are incredibly persistent. They won't give up until they reach their goals, which makes them very useful at work. Sigma females like to be alone, but that doesn't mean they are always lone wolves. They work well with others in groups, but they'd rather make their own contribution than carefully following the rules of the group. They value other people's ideas but aren't afraid to stand up for what they believe in when it's needed. How then does a Sigma girl do well at work? They do well by staying true to who they are, independent, artistic, and determined, and using their unique skills, working alone, and coming up with new ways to solve problems. Sigma women make it possible for others to succeed and make a real difference in their teams and groups by sticking to their beliefs and respecting other people's points of view. Before we move on, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps us a lot and costs you nothing. Never miss out on any of our videos about Stoicism and the way you can master your life. Common misunderstandings about Sigma women. There are a lot of false ideas about Sigma women, and it's time to bust some of them. A common misunderstanding is that Sigma ladies don't like other people. In truth, they only interact with certain people. They like being alone to think and improve themselves, but they're not against being around other people. But they'd rather have deep talks than shallow small talk, and they often pick their social events very carefully. Another false belief is that Sigma ladies don't have feelings. Quite the opposite, they are very emotional people, but they tend to keep their thoughts to themselves and work through them on the inside. That doesn't mean they don't care about other people. In fact, their tendency to think a lot about themselves helps them deeply understand how other people feel, which makes them very caring. Some people think Sigma women are cold and detached, but this is because they don't understand how important personal space is to them. They value being independent and able to rely on themselves, and they don't feel the need to be around other people all the time. This doesn't mean they're impossible to reach, though. They just like to connect with people on their own terms. Also, some people think that because Sigma females are shy, they like to be alone. They like being alone and find comfort in it, but they also respect relationships that matter. Their group of friends may not be very big, but the ones they do have are strong and important. Some people think that Sigma ladies aren't ambitious because they don't fit the typical mold of a successful person. They are, however, driven, but their idea of success may be different from what most people think of as successful. It shows that they have a complex view of success because they value mental growth, freedom, and self-sufficiency more than material things. To really understand Sigma ladies, you have to get past the common stereotypes and see how deep and complicated their personalities are, just like with anyone else. The strengths and weaknesses of Sigma females. Sigma females have important strengths and weaknesses that make them special. One of the best things about Sigma ladies is how fiercely independent they are. They depend on their own abilities and resources, which lets them make their own ways without having to follow what other people think they should do. Because they are not tied to outside approval, this freedom lets them easily adapt to different situations. Their tendency to think deeply about things is also a big plus. Sigma women think deeply about things and look at their situations in a way that helps them grow and change. This self-reflection makes them more self-aware, which gives them the power to make smart choices about their lives. But Sigma ladies have flaws, just like people of any personality type. Their desire for alone time can be helpful in moderation, but too much of it can make them feel lonely and disconnected. This could make it harder for them to make deep, meaningful connections with other people because they may deal with feeling alone all the time. Also, Sigma females might find it hard to talk about their feelings in a public way. People may see their shyness as aloofness, which makes it hard for them to speak clearly in both personal and professional settings. Also, their genuine lack of concern for social norms can sometimes cause problems with people who do care about those norms. Sigma women can live more balanced lives if they know their skills and weaknesses. They can find more happiness and be more in line with their values if they use their skills and work on their weaknesses. Sigma women can live a real and meaningful life by accepting the unique parts of their personalities. In the end, the world of Sigma ladies is very interesting. As we've looked deeper, we've found the unique qualities and ways of life that make them different from most people. Sigma females are like mysterious lone wolves. They thrive on being alone because it helps them be creative and rely on themselves. Honesty and deep connections are important to them in relationships, and they value quality over quantity in their exchanges. These people are the quiet winners at work. They would rather let their work speak for itself than get involved in office politics. A lot of people have the wrong idea about Sigma females. For example, some think that their freedom means they are cold. They do, however, have their skills and weaknesses, just like everyone else. Their freedom makes them very self-sufficient, but it can also make them feel alone. Understanding Sigma. Females helps us see how different people can be. It also serves as a lesson that it's okay to be yourself in a world that often values conformity. Sigma women are examples of how beautiful it is to be yourself. If you found this video interesting, click here to watch 10 unique traits that set Sigma females apart from other women. See you there in a second. Be stoic. Stay stoic.